The mist clung to the hills like a living thing. Every tree seemed to lean closer, whispering secrets in the wind. Flatwoods was quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that pressed against your ears and made your heartbeat echo. No one in town knew exactly when the stories began. Old-timers spoke of strange lights, fleeting shadows, and a creature that vanished as quickly as it appeared. They called it the Phantom. They warned outsiders to stay away. But curiosity has a way of breaking warnings. As the road narrowed, the forest closed in, fog swirling around the tires. The headlights barely cut through the gray haze. An owl hooted somewhere high above, but the sound seemed off, too sharp, too deliberate. It felt like it was watching. And then, for a brief second, a figure flickered in the mist ahead. Too tall to be human. Too still to be alive. A local diner sign flickered in the fog, offering the faintest reassurance. The kind of place that promised warmth and strong coffee, but not here. Not tonight. The smell of damp wood and moss filled the air, thick and heavy. Every crunch of gravel underfoot sounded like it was coming from someone or something right behind. Somewhere off the main road, the wind carried an unfamiliar sound. Low, guttural, like a growl stretched across miles of forest. The hairs on the back of your neck stood on end. Something didn't want you here, and maybe it didn't want anyone to leave. The forest seemed endless, and yet, in the distance, a faint light pulsed through the trees. It wasn't fire, not really, just a glow, greenish, unearthly, the kind of light that made you question whether you were seeing a trick of the fog or the phantom itself, waiting, watching. And then it moved. A shadow, slipping between the trees. Too fast to catch, too deliberate to ignore. Your heart raced, throat tight. The fog closed around the road, wrapping the forest in silence again. An eerie silence that pressed on the chest. Flatwoods wasn't just a town. It was a trap. And tonight it had noticed you. The next morning, Flatwoods seemed almost normal. The sun tried to pierce the fog, but it struggled, casting everything in a muted gray. Birds called, but their songs felt wrong, fragmented, hesitant, like they were warning someone. Walking through the outskirts of town, you noticed the signs. Trees stripped of bark in strange patterns. Footprints that didn't match any known animal. And always that sense of being followed. The wind whispered through the branches, carrying the faintest hint of something unearthly. That evening, the fog returned, thicker this time. You heard it before you saw it. A low, resonant hum that vibrated through the air, chilling the bones. Leaves rustled, but no wind moved. Shadows stretched across the forest floor, elongated, twisting, as though the darkness itself was alive. Then came the first glimpse. Through the mist, a towering figure emerged. Too tall to be human, with limbs that bent in ways that made the mind recoil. Its eyes glowed, faintly red, cutting through the fog like embers. It didn't run. It didn't hide. It simply watched. You froze. Every instinct screamed to run, but your legs wouldn't obey. The creature tilted its head, studying you with a terrifying intelligence. Then it vanished. Not into the trees, just gone, like the mist swallowed it whole. People in Flatwoods avoided talking about it. But that night, strange lights flickered on the hills again. Dogs barked frantically, and the hum returned, closer, louder, echoing in the very bones of the town. Something moved outside the house, scratching, circling, waiting. By dawn, signs of the night's terror were everywhere. Branches snapped in impossible angles. Footprints returned, deeper, closer to the door. And one unmistakable mark. A single claw print in the mud, too large to belong to any normal animal. You began to understand the stories weren't exaggerations. The phantom wasn't a tale to scare children. It was real, and it was learning, watching, and maybe hunting. Night fell fast in Flatwoods. The fog returned like a tide, swallowing the road, the trees, the edges of reality. Every sound was amplified. The crack of a branch, the whistle of wind, the scuff of something large moving just beyond sight. You tried to leave, but the forest seemed endless. Paths twisted, returning you to the same clearing, the same stripped trees. The air was thick, damp, and smelled faintly of iron and decay. Something had been here, something alive, and it had marked its territory. Then it appeared again, closer this time. You saw it through the mist, towering, grotesque, and impossibly fast. Its eyes burned with a faint green glow, scanning, calculating. The creature's body was shrouded in a dark, oily mist, making it almost part of the fog itself. A sudden sound, branches snapping, made your heart leap. You turned, thinking it might be an animal, but the footprints around you told a different story. They were enormous, clawed, and moving toward you. No normal predator could have left those marks. Panic set in. You ran. Every step seemed to echo in the oppressive silence. The creature followed, not with noise, but with presence. A weight pressing down, a cold that sank into your bones. You could feel it circling, stalking, toying with you. Then came the sounds, guttural, inhuman. A low, throaty growl, followed by something almost like laughter, except it wasn't amusement. It was hunger, and it was patient. The shadows around you began to twist unnaturally, elongating and writhing, as though the forest itself was alive, bending to the creature's will. You stumbled into a small clearing. Moonlight barely pierced the fog, revealing strange symbols carved into the ground. You realized they were old, ancient, maybe ritualistic. Something here had been calling it, keeping it alive. And now it had noticed you. The mist thickened suddenly, obscuring the path ahead. The creature's eyes glowed bright, red and green, through the fog. You could hear it breathing, sharp, wet, heavy. You could almost feel its gaze drilling into your skull. And then silence. The silence wasn't relief. It was waiting. You sensed it was just beyond the fog, closer than ever, preparing to strike. The fog was suffocating now. Every breath felt heavy, thick with the taste of damp earth. You could barely see a few feet ahead, yet you knew it was there, watching, waiting, patient. The creature had learned your patterns, predicted your movements. Escape wasn't just difficult. It was impossible. Then, out of the haze, you glimpsed it one last time. Its form was taller than any man, shrouded in mist, with limbs that bent impossibly. Its glowing eyes burned through the darkness, unblinking, unyielding. You felt a surge of fear so sharp it nearly paralyzed you. Your instincts screamed to run, yet every path seemed to twist back, leading you deeper into its domain. The whispers began, faint at first, almost like the wind, then louder, words forming in your mind that weren't yours. Leave or join. The fog seemed alive, curling around you like a serpent, pressing the shadows closer. Every step echoed with the creature's presence, and every heartbeat felt amplified, betraying your terror. Then, in a sudden moment, it vanished, just as it had before, but this time a mark remained. Deep claw scratches on the nearby tree, darkened with blood, and the footprints. They led not out of the forest, but into the unknown, as if inviting you, or daring you, to follow. When you stumbled back into town the next morning, the residents avoided your eyes. They whispered, casting furtive glances at the forest edge. No one admitted to seeing the phantom, but you knew. You had felt its presence, heard its whispers, and seen its eyes glow through the mist. And somewhere just beyond sight, it still waited. Flatwoods was not just haunted. It was claimed. The phantom had left its mark. And though you escaped tonight, the fear lingered. Every time the fog rolls in, every time the wind rustles the trees, you can't help but wonder, is it watching you right now? Waiting for its next visitor? If the Phantom of Flatwoods haunted your imagination tonight, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you dare, check out our other Appalachian horror stories. But remember, some things in the mist are always watching.